Hello, dear listeners. This is Emerson from Your Time Starts Now, a Taskmaster podcast. I'm just here to let you know that somewhere around the hour and 2 minute mark there will be an exceedingly loud noise, so this is your headphone warning for then. I've got nothing more to say, and with that, on with the episode.
Yay, we started. Hooray.
Yay, what's up? Da 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 da. Da 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 da. Dance your cares away, worries for another day. Let the music play with Emerson and Joe. Da, da, da,
Hi.
da, da.
Hi, welcome to Your Fraggle Rocks Now, a Fraggle Rock podcast, I guess.
We are here to Fraggle rock your world.
Which I'm going to point out that I don't know what Fraggle Rock is. Emerson just
It's
was
a Jim
humming that
Henson
song.
show. It's a Jim Henson show.
I have watched The Muppets, and actually, no, let me rephrase that. I have watched the original Muppet Show and the short-lived ABC workplace sitcom, The Muppets, that featured The Muppets, as well as the abominably bad Muppets Tonight, which was a 90s reboot of The Muppet Show, but I have not watched any other Jim Henson production. Unless you want to consider Sesame Street a Jim Henson production.
Of course Sesame Street is a Jim Henson production.
Okay, Sesame Street is technically a Sesame Workshop production, but, Jim Henson was heavily involved.
Jim Henson, Sesame Street came before The Muppet Show.
Mm-hmm, I know, but it's currently not affiliated with Henson, really.
The original Fraggle Rock was the last big show that Jim Henson had some sort of creative input in before he died.
Yeah.
And now there's a reboot, which actually looks pretty amazing. It's on Apple TV. I've not got Apple TV yet, but I really want to see what it's like because this reboot looks absolutely incredible.
Yeah, I don't have Apple TV either, but speaking of things that look incredible but shouldn't, Disney, or actually rather Pixar, dropped the newest trailer, or the official trailer, I should say, for Lightyear, which, okay, I need to say a couple of things first. First of all, whose Buzz Lightyear fan fiction did they steal to make this? Second, why are we getting a Buzz Lightyear movie? And third, we had a Buzz Lightyear series in the early 2000s. It was called Buzz Lightyear Star Command. It was really good.
I haven't seen that.
It's really good. It's 2D animated. It's hilarious. It's like, Buzz Lightyear and his incredibly less skilled teammates try and solve space crime.
It's basically like when, like a DreamWorks show. A DreamWorks movie had a show that then went to Netflix or something and they recast everyone so that the show could be more affordable and then made it 2D.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. But this was, I remember it being very good. And the question I have is, where does the Buzz Lightyear, this Lightyear movie featuring weirdly someone who's more expensive, because Tim Allen is still around and Tim Allen is still cheap, which is the whole reason they had Tim Allen in the first Toy Story movies, because he was TV money, not movie money. And instead, they got Chris Evans of Captain America fame to be the voice of Buzz Lightyear, which, my question is, where does this Lightyear movie fit into the overall Toy Story extended universe canon? Is it a prequel?
Shall I say what I think?
What?
So obviously the Buzz Lightyear represented in the movie is not the toy Buzz Lightyear, okay? It is the man who inspired the toy.
Yeah, that is the question.
In the Toy Story universe, Buzz Lightyear was a real person.
No. That's the question I had, because Buzz Lightyear, if you haven't seen the official trailer for Lightyear, it came out today. It's the 8th of February.
And this episode should be coming out on the 10th of February, so this episode isn't too dated.
Buzz Lightyear specifically says that they have been marooned on a planet for at least a year. So do you mean to tell me that Toy Story 1, which came out in 1995, before either of us were born, somehow exist in a universe where Buzz Lightyear is an actual man who went to actual space in an actual space colony and got stuck there before 1990, before 1995. Do you mean to tell me that this all happened during the Ronald Reagan administration? That we went to space with enough people to not only get stuck there, but able to build a rocket to get them off. A rocket that I might point out goes faster than the speed of fucking light. What is happening in the Toy Story universe? I want to just... Someone explain that to me.
Are you just going to be pointing out plot holes?
No. It's not a plot. There's not a plot hole if it doesn't make any damn sense. Then it's just weird because it doesn't. It's. You know what this is like? This is like the Cars movies. Pixar does this, where
the Cars movies are amazing, but they're also
no. The Cars movies are okay.
I take that. The first Cars movie is pretty good. I like it. Second one, don't like. Third one, I actually like even less than the second one.
That's about what I've heard. I haven't seen the third one. The second one was weird. And the problem I have with the Cars movies, and it's probably going to be the problem with the Buzz Lightyear movies, is that Pixar has their plot.
Buzz Lightyear movies? You think they're going to make more than one movie about...
Maybe, or Buzz Lightyear, whatever. But they always do this, where they have a plot, and then every line they drop within it is a background joke, makes the universe have no fucking sense. Like, in the Cars universe, they have ambulances, buses, thumbtacks, and cell phones, despite the fact that cars can drive themselves. Tow trucks what you would pick an injured car up in. They don't have thumbs or any way of manipulating a cell phone, and yet they all work like this. It's very strange from a world-building perspective. And every question
is that something we should do for, like, watch-alongs? We, like, watch the entire Cars trilogy in one go.
I would love to... I would love to do that.
We drink and watch the entire Cars trilogy in one go.
No, it's the Cars quintilogy, because there was also the two movies from above the worlds of Cars, Planes and Planes, Fire and Rescue. God. I would like to point out that I bought the art book for Planes, Fire and Rescue because this movie fucking baffled me. They actually went and made everything in, like, all the plants, all the rocks and everything like that are car shapes, which implies that everything in the Cars universe is cars and always has been, which really doesn't make any sense because...
Yeah, like, in the Cars universe, the first president of America was George Carr Washington.
Yes, and what car was he? George Washington became president in 1776, which is about 100 some odd years before, 130 years before the invention of the motor car? 120?
Maybe he was just like a horse-drawn carriage.
Where are the horses?
Well, maybe his technology got... Are you aware of the... I know this is kind of dead. It's kind of dead at this point, but are you aware of the Pixar Theory?
I am, and I don't know where this fits in because they've made everything else sort of work. I've read it, and it's a lot of mental gymnastics. But
the Cars trilogy, the Cars movies take place later in the timeline because the Cars world is still familiar to humans, but
no,
machines have clearly advanced enough to have wiped out humans.
That's bullshit. That's bullshit because machines.
That's what the theory says.
No, but why do rocks look like cars? Like, there's the whole, like, Cadillac range in the first Cars movie. This is deep Cars lore. I'm sorry, by the way.
And also the airplane tracks in the sky are tire skid marks.
Yeah, which again doesn't make any sense. But, like, there's, like, in the Cars movie, there's a lot of geographic features that are named after cars because whatever. But they look like cars. Those are not shapes that can appear in nature. What the fuck is going on? Because these are just background jokes. These are just background jokes that someone dropped into the film with very little thought.
I mean,
but it
the thing
really
is that
can.
you could make the argument like they were carved there by like the Mount Rushmore heads, but then someone would have to have like a. The only thing that could have possibly
Some
carved them was
precursor
forklifts, who have the tiniest little bit of dexterity to them.
some precursor race came and terraformed the Earth to look like cars. Does not explain anything. Also, I would like to just point out something else, which this whole franchise. Okay, so in the deleted scenes from Cars 1, because I watched those when I was a kid, they distinctly had a an idea for like a nightmare sequence, or maybe this was for one of the like Mater's Tall Tales episodes that didn't air, but they definitely had an idea for a while that Lightning McQueen would either go back in time or dream that he was going back in time, and he would go back in time to the like caveman era. And the whole idea was that he would meet up with a tribe of wheels. Like they were wheels with eyes. And this idea clearly didn't get onto the screen because it was insane. But this is clearly the Cars writers looking at history and trying to like taking a history textbook and like a copy of like, you know, a Haynes manual for a car and trying to jam the two together. They're not really thinking this through, which just leads to these
Maybe,
baffling oversights.
maybe, and I guess we just have to assume maybe the Cars universe, like the Cars, the first Cars movie is only set in the film like 200 or something.
I
One
don't
or 200.
I don't
Because,
think so though, because
maybe
that's
time in that universe started in like when cars were sort of taking off, or like
yeah, but
automated vehicles were taking off here. Like
how did they create an exact mimicry of
wait,
our society?
the thing is though, trains are also alive in the Cars universe, and trains have
Yes.
existed longer than cars have.
Yes, but that's beyond the point. How did they create an exact mimicry of our society then? Because you would think that if you were making a Cars movie, that you would make it like with a bunch of puns, like obviously Radiator Springs and the Cadillac Range, and you know, I think Radiator Springs is in Carburetor County, you know, haha, funny car jokes. But also, like Lightning, the whole thing about Lightning McQueen in the first movie is that he's trying to get to California. California, the I don't know the etymology of the name California, but like he's going from like North Carolina to California, and none of those are changed. None of
No,
these
I
are
think it's
changed.
he's mine in it. I think he's coming from like Tennessee or something.
No, it's Winston Salem, North Carolina, because that's like NASCAR in the South in the United States. Like
Either way,
there's
it's like a 2,500 mile journey.
well, yeah, but that's just normal. That's just normal.
That's normal for you.
Yeah,
A normal
that
journey for me is like like a long road trip in this country is like an hour and is 150 miles, which is about 4 or 5 hours.
oh my God, 4 hours. Hold on, where am I going? I'm going in 2 weeks. I'm going to Maryland for something. It's 278 miles. It's only 4.5 hours. That's not very far.
Where are you? Where are you going from?
My house.
So you live in Ohio and you're going to Maryland. That's like 1,000 miles.
No, I told you it was 287 miles. It's
Jesus.
200.
Let me
It's not that.
look at a map here.
That's not that far. I'm
It's not
driving
far,
there.
but I'm trying to, because I swear the gap is like longer than that.
No, it's Western Maryland if that helps. But that's like a far drive is like what's the like I've
It
driven
says
from
it's about 430 miles, but that's to like Maryland on the coast.
yeah, no, I'm not going there. I'm basically on like the border of West Virginia and Maryland, so it's a lot closer. But also a
Are we
day
gonna?
trip. A
Sorry, make this
day
point, but we have to we have to talk Taskmaster.
Oh yeah, that's right. Hold on. Let me just see how far that this other yeah, no, I've long trips. I mean, the longest one I've done recently is I drove up to Toronto, which is 350 miles each way.
Mm-hmm.
But that's out to So yeah, 600 miles in a weekend wasn't that bad. You,
Fair enough.
you
Anyway,
people just live in a tiny little country that could fit inside my home state.
yeah, but it means we don't have to travel as far for things we want.
What if you want something that's 1,000 miles away?
Well, what do you mean something that's 1,000 miles away? Because it's like if we're talking about things being delivered to us, like things get delivered from China all the time, so that doesn't really matter.
What if you need to go somewhere that's 1,000 miles away?
Well, I don't have to because I don't have family who live that far away, or friends who live that far away.
My dude, I drove 600 miles in a weekend to buy a model train. I will go the distance for shit.
This is a Taskmaster podcast. My name is
Yes,
Emerson.
it is. Hi, I'm sorry. We're 15 minutes in.
My name is Emerson.
I love our banter. I'm Joe. We're talking about season 5, episode 3 of Taskmaster, not the Buzz Lightyear movie that will surely be fucking baffling to me. This is season 5, episode 3.
I'm excited for it. I hope it's in cinemas and not shunted onto Disney Plus.
I think it's on Disney Plus. I don't know.
Turning Red's coming to Disney Plus next month, but I'm not sure about Lightyear. Anyway, Taskmaster.
Yes.
Episode 3, simply titled Phoenix.
Yes. We have some banter at the beginning. Alex has received elocution lessons, but he can now do any accent, but only on the word egg. He actually cannot when pressed on this. Interestingly enough, we also learn that if you say the word salivate, people will start salivating.
Salivate means to produce saliva, right?
Yes. What did you think it meant?
I don't know. I just couldn't be asked to find the definition.
Salivate means, yes, to produce saliva. It's basically like make your mouth water. And it actually is really funny. It actually does work a little bit. Maybe not to the degree that everyone was hamming it up to be, but yeah.
Anyway, prize task, shall we do?
Well, hold on. There's the floral shirt count in this episode is at 2. Sally's wearing a floral print dress, and Ashling's top is got like, I think it's the what's the red flower that you all wear on Remembrance Day?
Poppy.
Poppy. It's covered in like poppy flowers. It's a print.
Well, I thought you were going to say poppy seed, and that's a type of muffin.
No, it's also a type of bagel.
Yeah, it can be found on a lot of bakery items.
Yes.
Anyway, the prize task for the third episode of Series 5 is the proudest item. I think this is a very Series 1 prize task because it's just a most blank item. Just like three words to describe the prize task, and that's it.
It was described as thing they're actually proudest of. I like the qualifier actually.
That's true. Mr. Bob Mortimer is up first, and he has brought in a spirometer he used for 6 months after a lung operation. And he had to blow into it every day. Or was it suck?
It was. So a spirometer works by basically measuring lung function.
I know. I'm just making the joke that. Well, not really a joke, but the thing Bob said, like, I have to blow. I'll just play the soundbite, actually.
You have to blow into this thing to exercise. I think you suck it, actually. It's quite an important difference.
I will say, though, that there are spirometers that do work by blowing and sucking. Like there's different, they can work either way depending on the lung function they're trying to test.
That's a fair point, actually. Anyway, he felt proudest when Bob was able to get the spirometer's count all the way up to the little smiley face to show that his lungs had reached full capacity, I think.
Yeah, it basically means your lungs are good, man.
Yay. Aisling B is up next, and she has brought in her Irish flag cape from when she wrestled professional wrestlers in Edinburgh. And as we all know, this would have been very topical for the time, but anything Irish would have been treasured amongst British people because, of course, Brexit happened.
Yeah, this episode was taped in like 2017-ish, from what I could deduce.
Oh yeah, this must have been like within 18 months of Brexit being announced.
Yeah. So, because we see a thing later that was dated June of 2017, so the episode had to have been at least later than that.
Yep. Like I said, the Irish flag cape is quintessential.
It's made of a dozen Irish flags, so you can get citizenship. You can get a buy one get 11 free deal on citizenship.
Yeah, you can, and I'm sure whoever won that moved a lot of their family to Ireland so that they wouldn't have to be troubled by, you know what. Anyway, Sally collaborated with the Icelandic government to change how women are treated during pregnancy, and this is something to be proud of for sure. Although the problem is, the prize she has brought in is just a picture of her outside the Icelandic government.
Yeah, it's the Icelandic Parliament, though.
Icelandic Parliament.
Actually, what's really funny is it's not the most proud thing I've ever had, but I do actually have a picture of myself with members of the Icelandic government because I got to meet the president of Iceland in 2016.
What the fuck?
I went on a school trip because my school had an entrepreneurship program. I majored in entrepreneurship in college.
College.
And
so I'm just thinking you would have been like 19 or 20. You wouldn't have still been in school.
I was in this is for university. This was my senior year.
Yeah. Okay.
We went to Reykjavik to see an entrepreneurship conference.
Do you still have
Iceland.
the picture?
Yeah, I do actually. And then when the Icelandic president opened the conference along with the U.S. ambassador to Iceland, and we got to shake their hands afterwards. I'll see if I can dig up that picture.
Yeah, if you do, can you send it to me?
Yeah, no problem.
All right. So ultimately, it is something to be very, very proud of. But Sally didn't quite think through the fact that she had to bring in her the thing that is her proudest, and ultimately all she can bring in is the picture, which ultimately is not not very useful.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's a great thing to do, but what I was trying to say with my thing is it's just a picture. It's not anything that. It's not a good prize. It's a good story.
Yeah, and you can't even pretend it was you who did it because Sally's in the picture.
Yeah.
Although, unless his name was engraved on it, you could probably take what Nish Kumar brought in.
No, it was engraved on it. It wasn't. I looked at it. It has his full name, which I'm not even going to try to pronounce because it's probably going to sound offensive.
I'll look it up while you're doing the next task and see if I can pronounce it.
Yeah.
But I won't put the podcast on hold for that for now.
Yeah.
But either way, I'm sure someone could have just taken a screwdriver and prized the name, the engraving off, so the trophy stands that it is. But what Nish has brought in, sorry, I'm moving my mic around because it's just resting on my stomach, is a cricket trophy for an award called Clubman of the Year, presented to... Actually, me saying it's not going to do it any justice, so I'm just going to let Nish describe it.
The only physical achievement I've ever had in my entire life was I won a cricket trophy when I was 11. I used to play club cricket for Addiscombe Cricket Club, and every year they'd give out awards: Batsman of the Year, Bowler of the Year, Player of the Year, and then there was the award that I won, an award called Clubman of the Year, which I subsequently found out was presented to the boy who'd shown the most enthusiasm in the face of, and I quote, an overwhelming lack of ability.
Honestly, it's the most niche thing in the world, isn't it?
It is the most niche thing. And just for clarification's sake, this was from the under-11s league of Addiscombe Cricket Club, which I believe Addiscombe is in London on the Jubilee line or the Northern line.
Addiscombe Cricket Club. There isn't a station on the Underground called Addiscombe Cricket Club. but it's
Addiscombe
located in
is a railway station.
it's located in Croydon, so it's
It's
I'll
on
look-
Network Southeast.
okay. So it's not
Or
on
it
the
was.
it's not on the tube then.
It got knocked down in 2001. Okay.
Oh, that's a shame.
There was. That's why it's at Network Southeast. That was British Rail.
The nearest tube station isn't even technically a tube station. It's West Croydon on the Overground.
Actually, no. It's in Croydon. Tramlink would be closer.
Oh, fair enough. Yeah, that's true, actually. Anyway, let's not get hung up on this.
London Transport Podcast.
Yeah, London Transport is so interesting. It's so much better than the subway, isn't it?
It depends on where you are in the States. There's some wild transit stuff going on in the United States. It's just that so many places in the United States are like Glasgow as opposed to London in terms of transit infrastructure.
I'm not entirely sure what you mean by that, but
Glasgow has a single subway line that runs in a circle under the Clyde.
Oh, yeah,
as opposed to 17 lines, the tram, the cable car, the buses, and everything else.
Fair enough. So they'll just have like one line or something.
Yeah. We can do a bonus episode talking about transportation.
We could just do a bonus episode where we just ramble on about random things. We'd probably end up being like 5 hours long.
Oh yeah, no, it would be 7 hours long, and we'd be dead at the end of it.
I think I wouldn't even just throw in anything. I'd just chuck it in the editor, edit the sound, listen to about 10 seconds of it, and then post it to all the platforms.
Oh, that's what I do for the video editing nowadays. Is I just put the cover image on and just hit doop, and then
anyway, finally, Mark Watson has brought in his Mastermind trophy, and
Celebrity Mastermind.
Yes, as we all know, from Series 1, celebrity versions of quiz shows are not as impressive.
Oh yeah. Well, actually, no. This is very interesting because it's not.
I mean, they were asked sort of very basic questions like,
"What sort of animal does a moo?"
Yeah.
And then Nish just jumps out of his chair and the screams,
Yeah, no. No, but this is very interesting because it's not an impressive item, but they were asked to bring in an item they were proud of, which, considering that celebrities are, as we all know, incredibly stupid.
That's not fair.
Well, the stereotype is that they're incredibly stupid.
I mean, I was going to say Mark Watson's not stupid, and then I realized, oh, he is stupid. He's very stupid.
He is stupid, but the thing is that as a result, him winning Celebrity Mastermind is something to be proud of. It's not impressive, but it's something to be proud of. So he actually should do very well here.
But the scores say otherwise.
Yeah, they do. Boy, do they do.
Nish, unsurprisingly, gets last place. Mark, surprisingly, gets fourth. Ashlyn gets third. Sally, obviously it was a great cause, but she sort of didn't really think through that she had to bring in her achievement. Gets 4 points. And Bob, because he's still alive, gets 5. Bob, staying alive. Bob, staying alive. Okay.
That high note is why I can't sing along to Staying Alive.
I mean, I barely could. I'm the music man on this podcast. I just sing everything.
Which is really funny because in real life I sing everything, but I just am aware that I'm bad, so I just won't in public.
Anyway, do you have any objections to this?
I have many objections to this. In fact, I wrote down my list, and it's almost exactly the opposite.
Okay, shall we play the jingle? 3, 2, 1. Taskmaster Joe. Hit me with it.
Right, so first place, Nish Kumar, because if you are as inept as Nish is, and if you are as bad at literally everything as Nish is, a fact that you got a trophy for being that bad is something that you can legitimately be proud of. If nothing for just your own acknowledgement of your own ineptitude.
I mean, I'm not going to drop in a soundbite of this, but Nish did say in the very first episode that he was last in PE, first in being a legend.
Exactly.
So ultimately, this is a self-fulfilling prophecy, is it not?
Yes. Second off, Mark Watson. As I said, Mark is very dumb. So him winning a trivia show is something that he should be proud of.
Poor Mark Watson. He's like the most easy to manipulate man in the world. Even
if it's only the celebrity version. Listen, I've seen how Mark approaches this show. This is why I'm saying this. Third place, Aisling B. Because honestly, I don't have strong feelings either way, because yes, she should be proud she's Irish. Do I want a cape made out of Irish flags that someone else has sweated on and been thrown to the ground in? Probably not. Bob, fourth. It's very good that Bob's alive. It's something he should definitely be proud of. Do I want a used breath tester? No. As a prize. Do I want something that Bob Mortimer used daily for 6 months with his breath? I believe actually at the end of the episode, Greg says, "Take your phlegm with you."
Oh,
and then fifth place, Sally, because that's something that you should really be proud of. But the prize you brought in was a framed picture. No, I do not like it. It's not, when compared to everything else, it's very just sort of bland. None of these are bad prizes, but I just would like to note that Sally's is like the most there of everything.
I'm going to ask, what would you bring in? Because I don't know. I really regret not asking this more.
I don't know.
I know what I bring in.
I don't know what I would bring in. I think what I would bring in is, there's a local short line railroad that puts out a calendar every year of users submitted, of fan submitted photos, and I've gotten in it now twice. But but I can't really think much more of that. If I were married, I'd probably pull a Joe Wilkinson and bring in my wet marriage certificate, because that would be something to be proud of. A physical object that I'm proud of, but also willing to put up.
I'll say what I'll bring in. You'll probably be like, of course you bring in that, Emerson, but you'll also be like, he's got a fair point. I'd just bring in like a molded replica of my erect penis.
Why do I do this podcast with you? Oh my God. Why is that your answer? By the way, hi Mom, who listens to this.
Hi Mrs. Joe's mom.
Okay,
I wish I could see your face right now. Because to me, you're still a disembodied voice.
The disembodied voice is judging you. We're going to move along now.
My dad listens to this. I have no shame.
Okay. Well, in that case, I suppose you can be proud of it being that small. Anyway, moving right along.
Oh, shade. Are you a tree or something? Because you're throwing shade.
Uh-huh. Anyways, moving right along to Task 1. Task 1. We're going to continue talking about pipes of various sizes. Task 1.
And big old robot dicks.
Remove the table tennis ball from the pipe. The pipe must not be moved. Fastest wins. Your time starts now.
Nish says big old robot dick.
Nish does say... Can we just drop that soundbite?
Well. What have we here? A big old robot dick.
Yes. So we're in the lab. The lab is, of course, a room covered in plastic sheeting, which in this case is actually very useful. We haven't actually seen this plastic sheeting as necessary task in a very long while. Maybe I'm not even sure if there's anything since maybe honestly the watermelon task in season 1 that actually has required mess cleanup, but this one certainly does because there's a ping pong ball stuck in the bottom of the pipe. The pipe has holes drilled in it, and there's fruity drinks littered around the table. And the obvious thing that's going to happen is that you pour the drinks into the pipe to make the ball float to the top. The problem is that obviously the liquid will flow out of the holes of the pipe, so you've got to deal with that. There is a tray that the pipe is mounted on, which I'm going to talk about more in a second, but the pipe is this is just an intentionally difficult and messy task unless you're Bob Mortimer. So Aisling is the first one to be shown. She has a drink from one of the things because they are drinkable.
Sorry to interrupt, but Greg pretty much summarizes it perfectly at the end. Should we just put that in?
Sure.
So in summary, Aisling entered the room. She got pissed. She put some paper down a tube. She flagrantly ignored the rules and turned the tube upside down.
Yes.
Right.
And now for you to basically waste everyone's time by summarizing what Greg said.
Well, I have some opinions about this, actually, because she does have a drink. She then pours the drink in the tube. She tries to plug it with a straw, but actually makes probably the most effective siphon we've seen in a couple seasons with water coming out. Then she tips the tray.
Don't take me back to the siphon series, which is series 1.
She tips the tray upside down, but claims that she wasn't moving the pipe. And Greg says otherwise, but honestly, I believe her. Because she picked up the tray and turned it over to get the ball out. The pipe was attached to the tray, presumably with glue or something, but the pipe is still on the tray. It's a bit of a stretch, but I'm willing to say that unless, like, moving the pipe to me would be like ripping it off of the tray. Taking the entire apparatus and flipping it upside down, I wouldn't actually consider unreasonable.
Also, I should just say, if you hear talking, it's my housemates.
Yeah. Shut up, you nerds. We're talking about Taskmaster, a totally manly thing and that's macho and not nerdy.
Yeah, just two single guys talking to us. Two single, boring guys. Most likely both of us are on the autistic spectrum talking Taskmaster.
Okay.
I mean, I'm on the spectrum.
I don't think I am not. So,
would it be mean of me to say that I am incredibly surprised by that?
A lot of people say that. My own brothers say that. I'm not, but there's nothing wrong with that, but I'm not. Anyways, moving.
Good, because if there was something wrong with that, we'd have a problem.
I do not have a problem with that at all, but I am not. Anyways, I don't think that Aisling moved the pipe. Aisling just moved the tray the pipe was attached to, and I think she got it. But obviously Greg does disqualify she disqualifies her for this.
He disqualifies her for this.
Yeah. Yes.
He said she disqualifies her for this. But
he disqualifies her for this. I can speak. Nish and Mark make a mess because they're up next. They make a mess. They pour the drinks and make a mess with the holes in the tube. Eventually, they realize that they can tape the holes, which I think everybody sort of forgets they can leave the room when they do this. Bob didn't, but Nish and Mark, they really did seem to think they could tape it, and then they were like, "Oh shit, I can go get tape." So they did tape the holes, or Mark taped the holes. Nish used cling film
He did,
and discovered
yes.
very quickly that cling film is not waterproof. And Mark's eventual strategy was to make a calamitous mess and just try to overwhelm the hole's ability to de-water the pipe. And so he just continuously poured liquid in until the ball popped to the top, just barely got it out. Nish eventually gets it out just by cling filming the absolute hell out of this pipe. And then we discovered that this task lives in Mark Watson's head rent-free. He still thinks about it daily, at least at time of recording of the show. And it's and you can sort of tell that this did not go well because Mark's takes 23 minutes and 10 seconds. And then they get to Nish, and Nish is compared to a film, which is already a bad thing. It's the movie Phone Booth. I've never seen it. Alex references a scene about 44 minutes and 10 seconds into the film because that is how long it took Nish to get the ball out. Also, fun fact, when Alex says how long Mark's time was, and then Nish says...
How long did I do it for, Horny?
Nish called Alex horny, and no one even noticed. No one noticed at all. But if
there's a song called "Horny" by Hot and Juicy and Mouse T, and I honestly think that should be like Alex's walk-in song if he ever becomes a WWE
I don't know
wrestler.
who those people are, but I don't.
Basically, all you need to know is that the song is called "Horny," and it should be Alex's and walk-in song if he ever becomes a WWE wrestler.
Okay. I don't know if I don't know the exact soundbite, but if you want to drop that in, that'd be real funny.
The horny one.
Nish calling Alex horny. Yes.
Is this what this should we call this episode the horny one?
No.
Why not?
That one, because we've talked about many other things, and we will probably continue to talk about many other things.
All right, but if we can't settle on one thing, this episode is being called the horny one.
Yep. Okay. Then we get Bob Mortimer. Bob Mortimer immediately just gets supplies. He gets foam earplugs, and then tapes them into place in the holes. He concocts this elaborate story about there being a cellar, just a woman and a man and their son just outside the door to the lab who are selling tape and earplugs and things. And it's really funny. There's great camera work of the pole like not in focus and Bob's face in focus as he's pouring the liquid into it. And Bob just looks even more deranged than usual. He forgot to plug a hole at the top because he claimed that it was like letting it breathe, but he fixes it quickly and just gets it out in 8 minutes and 13 seconds.
Whoop, whoop.
Then we get Sally Phillips, who has to get a stepladder to even go up there and get it and look in the pipe. Then she tries to use a funnel when she determines that there are holes in the bottom of the pipe, which doesn't make any sense. She makes a quip about the definition of stupidity being doing the same thing over and over again. That's actually the definition of insanity.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, no, the phrase she's going for is, the phrase she says is, the definition of stupidity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. And that's actually the common phrase for the definition of insanity.
Okay.
Although my favorite version of that is from the 1990s movie Con Air, which is define stupidity, a bunch of idiots dancing in a plane to a band made famous to a band that died in a plane crash, when the cons on Con Air are dancing to Sweet Home Alabama by Leonard Skinner, a band that famously died when their charter plane crashed.
Sweet Home Alabama. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's it's a great scene and a great movie.
And the legacy that Sweet Home Alabama has had.
Yeah, well, Sweet Home Alabama is actually a really interesting story because the tale goes that, and I think there's some like truth to this, but I'm not sure whether or not it's completely true. Is that there was a mobile home? Is that mobile homes, which is a thing in America? I don't know if they're in England.
Well,
Were
there's like the holidays. You're talking like a trailer park kind of thing.
Yes, they're called mobile homes. Everyone always thinks it's because you can drive them around. That's not actually true. They're normally left permanently placed when they get there, but it's actually because they were mobile homes made by a company in Mobile, Alabama. This company in the 40s or 50s was called, maybe even the 60s, was called Sweet Homes. Their radio jingle and their radio jingles in the 60s was Sweet Homes, Alabama. And there's very little official documentation on this, but it is believed that Sweet Home Alabama is at least in part taken from an advertising jingle for the first company to make mobile homes.
That's actually really fascinating.
Anyway,
Yeah,
anyways,
she reverse kaplunks it.
Yes,
and then hoovers the ball out.
Sally does try to use straws to sort of keep the ball in place while she tosses more liquid in there. Doesn't work. She sticks a vacuum cleaner hose down into it and gets it out. This is what she describes to be one of her horror ones, to which Nish next to her. Actually, at this point, she's laughing so hard her head is in Nish's lap, and Nish is like, "What the fuck do you mean? Did you see what I did?" And
bless Aisling though. Bless Sally. I mean, bless Aisling, but more in this instance, bless Sally.
Yeah, Sally's very competent.
Anyway,
normally,
scores.
but
it's 2 for 2 for Bob Mortimer and 2 for 2 for Sally, who have both come first and second respectively. So they get 5 and 4 points. Mark gets 3, Nish gets 2, and Aisling gets 1.
No, Aisling doesn't get any. Aisling got DQ'd.
Oh yeah, she did. My bad. Oof. Imagine forgetting that you got DQ'd. Anyway, you don't have any objections, do you?
No, I object that Aisling got disqualified, but I can see why.
Okay, fine. This isn't like a repeat of the glove incident.
Yeah, no, it's. I think there's reasons both way, but I wouldn't have DQ'd her.
Anyway, my turn to do task 2. Jesus Christ, we are 47 minutes in.
This is like season 1 all over again.
No, we're not gonna break an hour and a half. I can tell.
Yeah. This one means business.
Yeah. Or what was the word that Alex said?
Like the word commerce, this one means business.
Oh yeah, like the word commerce.
This really means business. Here, just play the. I butchered that, even though I wrote it down. Here, if we want to say it, actually,
we're not dropping that soundbite because that is funny.
Like the word commerce, it really means business. And then Greg attacks him with his papers right as he goes into it.
I'm not dropping in that soundbite because you saying it is so much funnier. Anyway, the task is make this coconut in the briefcase, which we'll come back to in a second, look like the best businessman. So they open the case and the coconut's just inside, and Nish mentions that if you just turned up to work with that, you'd be sacked. But what's more interesting...
I'd like to point out that there is a Satsuma on the table next to Bob Mortimer as part of the running gag this season of there being a Satsuma randomly near Bob Mortimer.
I did not notice that. But
it's on the table at 18 minutes and 48 seconds on YouTube. It's to his left.
I'll keep my eyes peeled for more fruit and Satsumas with Bob in the future. But the thing is, Mark spends 6 minutes trying to open the case when it was already on the combination that unlocked it.
Yeah, it wasn't even supposed to be locked or anything. He's just bad.
Anyway, like I said, the task is to make the coconut look like the best businessman. And Aisling, rightly so, calls out the sexist nature of the task.
Does it have to be a businessman? Or for once, could we open up the idea and call it a business person?
You can interpret businessman however you like.
I will interpret it as sexist.
Okay, so Aisling talking about sexism here. We can talk about that in a minute.
Should
We'll get
we
to them.
should we talk about everyone first?
Yeah. No. We'll get there. We talk about Ashling's. They have 10 minutes to plan their coconut businessman and 10 minutes to make it.
Anyway, first up is Bob. I honestly cannot describe Bob's for the life of me. I'll just have to play.
No, you can't.
I'm going to play two sound bites back to back. One is Bob's original version,
And then
the next is Greg redubbing it.
Hello, I'm Mary down by your side, and I'm a lathe operator. Hello there, I'm Slow Peter, and I paint prison gates. And I'm a fucking businessman.
And here's the next version.
Hello, I'm Barbara and I like horses.
My name is Quentin and I enjoy ballet.
And I'm Morgan, and I don't think women should be allowed to breastfeed in public.
Honestly, I just cannot describe it because
I'd like to point out that that one of the people in there was the Satsuma that showed up on Bob's desk.
The other was just a random apple.
Yeah.
Aisling.
It's this one.
Aisling. So after calling out the sexist nature of the task, Aisling makes a businesswoman who has little like male Ken dolls drinking her own the coconut business lady's own blood, which is coconut water. And
she also has a gun and what I can only assume is some sort of women's literature. It's a book with a picture of a woman. It's very confusing.
Also, Greg acknowledges the cracking pair of boobs.
Yes, it is a very busty mannequin that she mounted the coconut on.
Very, very buxom is a more polite way to say it.
Yes. But I would just like to point out that Aisling goes very hard into this anti-sexist, why can't it just be a business person? And then she makes something that it feels a little sexy. Like the opposite.
She goes too far in the opposite direction. Obviously, it was carelessness on Alex's task to word the task in such a way.
Well,
but also he didn't mean to. He didn't mean to cause offense with it.
Well, no. I don't have a problem with him saying businessman because
I don't either. But
businessman has a very stereotypical image, which is what I think they were going for, as we'll see. But the thing is that Aisling makes it's such a fucking bizarre scene she's created.
She's making a mountain out of a molehill, if you know what that means.
And it's a gun-toting mannequin that's forcing she has this whole backstory for it where it's like a subservient men being forced to drink her coconut water, which is also her blood, in the middle of a meeting. Like, can you play the audio of what the fuck is going on here?
I can do, yes.
So this is a coconut business lady. She's not afraid to have an outfit that makes the most of her figure. No, sure. Yeah, she's wearing red lipstick to draw the male attention so she can probably fire them. She's also got loads of coconut water around her, which is, yes, her own blood, because she's a coconut. And then at gunpoint, she's forcing 3 subservient male businessmen to drink her own blood during a general meeting at the office. And that, sir, is my business person.
Jesus Christ, this is a very soundbite heavy episode.
I genuinely just... It's weird. It's weird.
It is weird. And she also calls Greg an absolute pig for looking at the boobs. I just can't think of anything else to say for it. Oh, and also she's called a furry-faced delight, which is what Greg used to call Alex until he came to despise him.
Yeah, hairy-faced delight, because she hadn't shaved the coconut. And also this coconut is apparently 58 years old and is an apt creator, which I don't
I don't know if she's aged really well or really badly, the coconut lady.
I don't know. It's just really
It doesn't matter.
weird. I don't like it.
Mark sets up a business for the coconut, so that he's
Marx is my favorite. Marx is really my favorite.
and he gives the coconut a huge bow tie.
Yeah,
And
the
he
coconut's
just
name is
certifies
Colin.
Colin the coconut, and he's just certified as a business owner on Twitter. I wonder
Well,
how many.
no. So I went to this Twitter account. It's at coconut_Colin. It was founded. The first tweets were from November 22nd, 2016. The last tweets really seem to be from December of that year. And then afterwards, he had registered Colin Coconut Limited at Company's House in Cardiff on June 30th, 2017.
Should we call this? Colin's got just under 4,000 followers on Twitter. Should we call him? Should we call this episode at coconut_Colin?
Yeah, we can do that. Yeah, that
nice
sounds,
little fun one for a change.
Yeah, but no, Colin Coconut Limited was registered at Company's House according to the document he showed. He claimed that he wanted to do this because anyone can just be a businessman if they do it on Twitter, which is absolutely true now more than ever.
Okay, so big up Mark Watson. Sally makes an adorable little coconut.
A diorama of a coconut presenting a chart.
Yeah, and the business is doing really, really well. And he's got a little Oyster card, an ID badge, and she spent 11 minutes shaving the coconut.
Yeah, and the chart is labeled money, and it goes up.
Yeah, like I said, the business is booming for this company.
Yeah.
And Nish, I'm just going to play the soundbite of this.
Hello, I'm the coconut businessman. Off to do another day of lovely business.
So if you didn't get to see the visuals of Nish's thing, he pulls his shirt up over his head and rests the coconut in the neck hole and puts a bowler hat over the coconut and makes a tie out of money. And then that
was 140 Great British pounds.
And yet he talks like he's from the southern states. But he takes the hat off and we just see the tiny little coconut head, and it's amazing.
Yeah, no, this is great. This is why
I always laugh out loud at this moment.
This one's great. This is why I think that Alex specified businessman, because businessman evokes such a distinct image of a guy in a bowler hat, at least for me, that you are going to get a funny response. I'm not entirely certain that a gender neutral version would have worked.
Anyway, scores. Nish, amazing, gets 5 points.
Yeah.
Mark, also brilliant, gets 4. Ashley 3, Sally 2, Bob 1. Quite a 4 from Grace for Bob. Do you want to do Taskmaster Joe for this? And also keep it brief. 3, 2, 1. Taskmaster Joe.
Aisling is in last place because I genuinely did not like hers.
She's going to come after you for that.
Also, if we are being strictly textualist, it did say on the task, make the best businessman. Aisling made a businesswoman.
I mean, she's going to come after you for this.
But it's more to the point that I think that for all that it's genuinely not a nice scene, and I didn't like it. Bob gets in 4th because, I can kind of agree with Greg that it doesn't actually depict a businessman so much as Bob just shouting businessman. Sally and Nish get second place both because Sally because hers was adorable and Nish because his was amazing. And then I give Mark Watson first place because he went and registered a real company. The coconut is officially a businessman. That's top tier.
Very respectful. Now,
yeah.
I dread this next task because it's so long. It's not only so long and so wordy, and there's so much to talk about, but you are taking it.
Yeah, I know, because if you did this one, we would not have nearly as much detail as this task needs.
That's not fair. I think I could do it.
I think I didn't say you couldn't. I think there wouldn't be enough detail. Because this task is 3 tasks nested inside a single task on a beach with Jell-O.
I think it's near where the lake is.
Yeah, I think actually if you turn the camera around, they're on the sandy beach near the boat dock.
Basically, it's the least looking British location they've shown in the show.
Yeah. Yeah, and actually, this is really funny because this is the day that Nish decided to wear a full suit, which he looks great. Actually, everybody looks great because they all of them
Nish
have their
looks like he
sunglasses.
could be the first Indian James Bond, which I wouldn't say no to be honest.
Yeah, no, if
he was in a production that wasn't like No Time to Die.
Yeah, I fucking hate that movie. Only if Nish was actually that suave. But he's not, as we will discover.
Nish should be like some kind of like a Johnny English kind of type film.
I was going to say Nish would be Johnny English, where it's all suave.
Johnny EngNISH. Wait, is that the episode title? Johnny EngNISH.
Yes. Johnny EngNISH. All of his weapons are based around things he's done on Taskmaster. He has a sonic. He has a sonic grenade that just deploys. Now that's what I call Nish's laugh. That drives away enemies.
So just like at the loudest possible here, you hear.
Anyways, so I'm going to refer to these tasks. There are 3 tasks. I'm going to refer to them as left, center, and right. Left, these are all from the perspective of the camera, not from the contestants. Left is eat 1 item, fastest time wins, which I think something more is said there. But the thing is that the person who they show reading it out is Aisling. And we'll get to Aisling in a second, but Aisling actively was shoveling a Weetabix bar into her mouth when she was reading it. So I don't know if there was anything else.
It'd be disgusting.
Then I don't know if anything else is said afterwards. The center one says, and this one's very wordy, standing behind this rope, throw 1 item into the bucket. You may retrieve the item if it misses, but you must be stood behind the rope for every throw. You may not move the rope or the bucket. Fastest wins. Your time started when you opened the first task and ends when you have completed all 3 tasks. Finally, the right one says balance 1 item on top of the red pole. There's also a red pole and a white table next to a red velvet rope, which is in front of the bucket, which is some distance away from the bucket. Balance 1 item on top of the red pole. The item must stay balanced till the entire task is completed. You may not take the pole out of the ground. Fastest wins. Other notes, Alex is using his phone as a timer, not the iPad. We can see this in Aisling's task, that he's actually using an iPhone, which I just wanted to point that out. The first 2 we see are Bob and Aisling. Bob opens the center one first and tosses the Weetabix and gets it right in on the first try. Then he opens the left one, and he eats the Twiglet almost instantaneously. Is it a Twiglet?
Yeah, it's called a Twiglet. I think
what is that?
It's just like it's like a kind of it's a long time, it's been years since I've had a Twiglet. But I think what it is, it's a very thin breadstick coated in something like that's got some kind of like flavoring to it. I seem to remember them being a bit kind of Marmite-y.
Okay. Yes. I've just to make sure I have it said out loud. There's a thing of Jell-O, a Wheat Bix, and a Twiglet on the table next to the 3 tasks. And then finally, Bob opens the right one last and just puts the Jell-O on the pole. Aisling, meanwhile, opens the left one first and eats the Wheat Bix literally while reading the task. This one, she just pushes it into her mouth and starts eating and starts chewing while she's still talking. It's something I think about every now and again because every time I see one of these food-related tasks, that's how I want to approach it. Is like with the eat this egg task, that's how I would have approached eating the egg. I would have just like, eat this egg, crunch. We mentioned that which episode was that from? Something in season 2 or 3, I think.
Oh yeah,
where Osmond drank the egg, and that was the fastest.
Would you have just like bitten into it and eaten the shell, Rocky
I
style?
I would have eaten the entire egg in one bite, regardless of
You would have eaten the shell and then made the argument they didn't eat the whole egg because they didn't eat the shell.
I would have fucking won that task because I would have been faster than everybody else.
You would have eaten the shell and then said, these people didn't eat the shell.
No, no, because eating the egg means a lot of different things. Everybody did that task correctly, but I think that I would have been the winner because I would have eaten it. Like just straight up eat this egg, crunch. That's it.
Okay.
But
also, did you
anyways,
also,
did I mention?
Oh no, you haven't got there yet, sorry.
No, yeah, so Aisling, she eats the Weetabix, and just puts it in her mouth. She opens the center one next, throws the Twiglet, and boy, does that not work very well. It takes her like 4 or 5. It takes her like 4 or 5 tries, and then or maybe more, and then she finally opens the right one last, and puts the Jell-O on the pole. She has to slide the table over and stand up on it, just like Bob did. And this is the greatest shot, I think, of this season.
It is. It's amazing. I love this frame because people have done like professional paintings
cinemagraphs. Yeah, it's such a good thing because for what it is,
we can't not make it the thumbnail. Is what we thought.
Yeah. For what this picture is, it's a wide shot of the velvet rope, the table, and the pole. Aisling is standing completely on top of the pole, on top of the table. The sky is blue, the sand is brown, and her and Alex are just staring at the Jell-O as it slides down the pole. And it's just perfectly still, doesn't move or anything. And it's an amazing like 5-second long shot before the Jell-O falls off the pole completely. And it's perfect.
It's like a cinematic shot, a cinematic shot.
Like a lot of you might hear me talking about a lot of the cinematography choices on Taskmaster, but I really think that the people who do the camera work here are just punching above their weight, considering because they were doing this in season 2, they were doing fun tricks like this. And it, for a show that was on Dave at the time, it really didn't just need that. It almost didn't deserve that. But they did it anyways. And I really enjoy that they did. Then we come next to Aisling, not Aisling. We come next to their times. Their times.
Yeah, their times.
And Aisling did in 4 minutes, and Bob did it in 4 minutes 30. And it took.
No, I thought it was Aisling did it in 4 minutes 30. Bob did it in 4 minutes.
I might have them backwards. I do have.
Yeah, because Bob scores more points in the final standing than Aisling.
And it did take Bob 2.5 minutes to get on the table.
Yeah, because if you think about it, Bob took a very long time to get onto the table, but he took.
No, I wrote the names down in the wrong order.
Okay.
That's what. Next we see Johnny EngNISH and the Heron. John,
I was
Mr.
just thinking.
EngNISH,
Sorry, I was just thinking. You know how people have said Woomar?
yeah.
Wouldn't a better shit name be Nish Mark Watson?
Oh my god. That's so good, but it's so long.
Or what about just Kumark?
At that point, you're fighting against all the people who already say Woomar. But
I'll just do like a Drake meme where it's like Woomar, no. Nish Mark Watson, yes.
or the Galaxy Brain meme again. But anyways, so
Although the Winnie the Pooh meme where it's just like he's just sat casually for like the thing, and then he's just like you got like a upper class bourgeoisie Winnie the Pooh.
oh yeah, that one. But anyways, continuing on with this, Nish opens all of the tasks at once. Mark and Nish both do this, but Nish eats the Twiglet and throws the Weetabix. The problem with throwing the Weetabix, if you're not Bob Mortimer or anybody else who's good at this, is that the Weetabix, we don't have Weetabix in the United States, but I assume that it is a dry bar of processed oats.
That is
correct.
It's not oats, it's wheat, hence the name.
It's a dry bar of wheat.
Yes.
Dry bars
you
of
need
wheat.
milk, and you can add things like berries, you can add although I used to actually just like Weetabix plain with the milk, because if the milk is cold enough, it tastes chocolatey without being chocolate.
Okay. I have no opinion on it. We genuinely do not have this in the United States. I've never heard of it in my life outside of English food shows, but Weetabix comes apart. And that's exactly what happened to Nish, because every time he misses it, it starts to disintegrate more and more. Furthermore, everybody else managed to get the beach, wherever the hell they are, on a slow day. Nobody was out there. Nobody was there. Or at least they weren't there. Nish people are visible sunbathing behind him. Apparently they were laughing at him. They were saying how stupid he was at this, which is true.
I think because this was an on-location task, it would make sense that all the tasks were filmed in one day. Maybe two of them did it in the morning, and Nish did it at about lunchtime, where it would have been the hottest in the day, and then two of them.
I don't know what the situation was. I don't know why nobody else was there, but I'm gonna just say that Nish absolutely had people making fun of him the entire time he was doing this.
Could they not have just seen the cameras and been like, "Oh, he's doing it for a TV show"?
No, they were making fun of him because of that. This is the most English thing I've ever heard of. From everything I have ever been led to understand about the United Kingdom, seeing someone try to do something for television and seeing them fuck up would just bring absolutely unending mockery until they finished or you went away. Am I wrong?
You saying that made me think of Colin Mockery from Whose Line Is It Anyway?
Colin Mockery is great, and he should be on this show, but he's not. But
Colin's the short, bald one, right?
Yeah, yes. Colin Mockery and Ryan Stiles are from Whose Line Is It Anyways, the American version and original English version.
Well,
they're some of the funniest fucking people ever to come out of that television sphere.
I prefer Wayne Brady. I love Wayne Brady.
Wayne is great.
Wayne Brady is the most talented man in the world. You can't change
Wayne
my
Brady's
mind.
extremely talented. This is not a Whose Line Is It Anyway appreciation podcast. I could go on for an hour.
Although,
but
maybe
anyway,
what if we got like Spelvin and one other person and just did like improv comedy for an entire episode?
Oh, that would end either very well or very badly.
I'd like to do it though.
It would be fun. We could do Jackbox or something and try that.
Oh, that'd be fun as hell.
But anyways,
it'd have to be visual though, because Jackbox is a very visual heavy show.
Oh yeah. But anyways, where were we? Oh yeah, no. The Weet-Bix starts coming apart. The Weetabix disintegrates entirely. The Weetabix does not go in the bucket.
Mm-hmm.
He puts the Jello on the pole, has an Aisling moment when it falls off the pole. He throws the Jello into the bucket in anger, which mostly just hits the camera lens, and then knocks the table over out of frustration.
And him
we
knocking
don't
the
know
table
how
over
Greg was
prevents him from getting an extra point.
Greg was going to give him, with air quotes, an extra point, and then he didn't because he pushed the table over for the Jello throw. But it doesn't really matter because Nish gets no points, and we don't hear how long his time is because he didn't actually do it. Mark, on the other hand, is surprisingly more competent. He puts the Twiglet on the pole, then proves that he's not as competent as we think he is because he tosses the Weetabix, he misses, grabs the Twiglet off the top of the pole, and starts throwing both of them. When he gets the Twiglet into the bucket, he puts the Weetabix on top of the pole. Actually, he eats the Jello first. He enjoys the Jello, puts the Weetabix on top of the pole, and because he is in fact a heron, he's tall enough that he doesn't have to stand on the table.
I can't enjoy people calling Mark Watson a heron anymore, but I'll let you finish talking first, and I'll explain why.
But he is tall enough that he doesn't have to stand on the table. He manages to get it in a very nice 4 minutes and 20 seconds.
Anyway, the reason why I can't listen to Mark Watson being called a heron anymore is because of not long ago I posted to the Taskmaster Reddit, enjoyed this cool pic of Mark Watson, and it's just a picture of a random heron that I found.
Yeah.
It did pretty well for a while. Someone gave it an award, and then it was removed by mods, and I actually was like, why did you remove this? It wasn't related to Taskmaster enough. And then I tried to appeal to them, and then they said it's staying down, and
Emerson, why are you letting Reddit moderators get to you? These people are like pointless basement dwellers. Do not listen. These people are petty no ones who have nothing else going on in their life. They can't even. They're moderating a Taskmaster subreddit. They're not even moderating a big subreddit. Jesus Christ! That do not let these no ones yell at you.
Should we wrap this up soon? It's nearly midnight here.
Yeah. No, let me just shit on the only subreddit where we ever post these episodes, because we post these episodes on there. I've stopped.
We haven't
doing
posted
that.
These first two.
No, I've stopped doing that ages ago because I would post them up there, and then they would get like 3 likes, and so just like fuck those people.
Maybe they just don't like Maybe they just don't like self-promotion.
Well, then how the fuck else are people going to hear about this? So we got to figure that out. But fuck Reddit in general. I'm on Reddit all the time. Fuck them.
Anyways, we don't do this for the listens. We just do it for fun. And if you guys want to hear us talk about a mixture of Taskmaster and other things, Sally Phillips.
Sally Phillips is a fucking legend. She opens all the tasks, has a great shirt with lips on it. She doesn't really say anything at all. She just reads them silently. She puts the Weetabix on the pole, eats the Twiglets, tosses the Jello in on the first try, is done so quick. Greg stands her up and like presents her to the audience for the inverse of a standing ovation. 2 minutes 1 second, obvious winner.
Yep.
And that's the end of this extremely long task.
And nearly this extremely long episode. But the scores are Sally obviously gets 5, Bob 4, Mark 3, Aisling 2, Nish gets none because he pushed the table over. And so with one task left to go, Bob and Sally are tied for first place on 15 points. And the live task, which thankfully I don't have a lot to say about, is play table 10. Really? Are you just going to show me?
No. I wrote down the exact wording of the task, and I swear to fucking God, it is 7 sentences.
Well, this is what I've written down.
Can we play the soundbite, please? Because it's so long.
Task out. Okay.
Yes.
with words. When the table tennis ball is within striking distance, you must say a word while pretending to hit the ball with your bat. That word must begin with the last letter of the previous word. Yeah, ooh is right. If you fail to say a word within the time it would take you to hit a table tennis ball, you are out. After saying your word, you must run to the back of the opposite cue as the task progresses. Alex will serve the first word to the youngest contestant. Last player standing wins.
I'm really sorry. It's just that it's so long and so wordy, and I cannot stand it.
Whoosh.
But anyways, what were you going to say? I'm sorry.
Well, I have written down the task as follows. Play table tennis with words. The word spoken must begin with the last letter of the previous word. If you cannot think of a word in time or repeat a word, you are out.
Oh, mine's much longer than that. I wrote it down word for word.
I don't really want to... The only way we could sort of do this task any justice is if we played the entire thing as a soundbite.
Yeah.
But I think that would be too disrespectful to our audience.
Yeah.
All I'll say is that the word ecclesiastical has been said more times there than it... Nish said the word ecclesiastical more times in that task than he'll ever say it in his whole life.
Actually, I wanted to mention that because obviously, so Nish gets out on ecclesiastical because halfway through the task, they decide that repeating a word will get you out, which I don't like because that's done in the middle of the task instead of at the beginning. Whatever. The thing is, they did a practice round on screen, like to show how it worked. They did a practice round. And Nish said ecclesiastical. Nish did not say ecclesiastical again until he said it in the main task and declared himself out because in like the 5 minutes between then, he had forgotten that he didn't say it in the main round. He wasn't out.
Sorry to... I think we should put a pin in that because there's not really a whole lot to say, but also I've just seen this amazing thing that the Taskmaster Taskmaster Twitter account has retweeted a Twitter user by the name of at Mr. H. Holtman. No, sorry, Mr. M. Holtham. Sorry. And he has made a Lego Taskmaster house where he has recreated scenes from Series 5.
I have seen that.
I'm just watching it for the first time.
He's got it on Lego Ideas. If you want to vote for it, go to...
I would buy that Lego set.
If you want to vote for it on Lego Ideas...
It's got Nish Kumar kicking the basketball into the hoop.
If you want to vote for that to maybe get made by Lego, go onto the Lego Ideas page. I'm sure you can find it somewhere. And it will be there.
You got Mark, you got the people with the flame. You've got them interviewing Rosalind.
Only other thing I want to say about this task, and I don't know if you want to say anything because it's technically your thing to talk about. When they decide the words cannot be repeated, they start up again immediately, and the first word that Alex tells to Bob is the word Phoenix. Bob blanks, has no idea what to say, is really mad about this afterwards too. But
that reminds me of a Taskmaster New Zealand moment where they've got to do a task like this and they have to say either a celebrity or a fictional character whose last letter of their surname is the same as the first letter of their first name. And David Correos says Joaquin Phoenix.
Oh God. Joaquin Phoenix.
Joaquin, I mispronounced it. Never mind.
But what's an X person?
An X person, I don't know. Their name would have to be Xavier or something. Oh, I've just seen the Lego Coconut Businessman and I've laughed.
Yeah.
Xavier.
And celebrities.
Xavier Dolan, a Canadian filmmaker.
The fact that we have to Google this says how fucked anyone would be on that show. But
anyway, should we wrap this up?
Yes. Bob Mortimer wins the episode, but Aisling won the live task.
And she lies down on the table tennis table and paddles her feet in the air in exhaustion.
Yeah.
Anyway, this has been it from us.
Also,
we should wrap this up because I have only one day to edit this, and tomorrow is very busy for me.
Okay. One last thing. We get a joke at the end. Greg says, Alex salivate. Alex spits a load of water into a cup, and Greg just says, incredible. It's so funny. And then Bob gets his spirometer all the way to the top as the credits roll. End of episode.
All right. Yeah, I'm tired because it is nearly midnight.
Yes, go to sleep. We've only been going for an hour and a half. We're good.
Right. I've been Emerson.
I've been Joe. Goodbye.
Bye.